Hello, good afternoon, this is Diecast Louie and I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another episode of the weekly premium, and like last week I'm going to be opening more than one. I know I said in the original beginning episode that I'll be opening one piece, possibly two pieces a week, but this week I've actually got three pieces I'm going to unbox. So that's two from the new box full of cards that I got and one very cool piece that I came across funnily enough this morning while I was out and about. So anyway, without further ado, we'll get straight into it and we'll take a look at what it is I'm unboxing for this week's episode. So the first piece we're going to unbox, so we'll get the camera up a little bit because as usual I can't see it, and it is this very cool 1970 Plymouth AAR CUDA from Greenlight. So very cool, not a massive amount of much to look at in the box really. So you can see it says Graveyard Cars, which is obviously, I'm not sure if this is a Netflix series, I can't remember now, or this is no, it's a series anyway. But there you go, there's the back. It is a, if I get a bit of zoom on, 2023 casting I believe, or at least when this particular car came out, but whether it says 23 on the bottom of the car I don't know. But anyway, we will crack it open and take a closer look, so just bear with me while I get my scissors and cut it open. And there it is out of the packet. So 1970 Plymouth AAR CUDA. As far as I'm aware of, the AAR stands for All American Racing, but I'm sure if I'm wrong one of you lot can tell me, because I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's right. Straight away, very weighty piece. It's got a substantial weight to this. It is quite interesting how some castings feel heavier than others. It sounds like it's a plastic roof, so we just give it the little, the lip test as I call it, where I touch my lip to see how cold it feels, but still it is very, very cool, very, very nice piece. So there you go, CUDA on the side and on the rear, no license plate, got that sort of raised spoiler. Now I'm wondering if this is because they make, I know they make a Greenlight do a convertible version, so it's probably a convertible version being made into a roofed version or vice versa. So that's why it's probably got a plastic roof. It has got the louvered rear window, which is quite cool. You used to see that on a lot of cars from the 70s right through into the 80s. You got them, you can see it's got some bonnet clips there, which is pretty cool. They're actually quite nicely done. Sometimes on a lot of model cars they're just little lumps of paint. Looks like I've got a bit of a, I'm not quite sure what that is there. There's a little bit of chip by the looks of it, but that's not too much of a big deal. But initial thoughts is it is pretty cool. Like I said, got a nice weight to it. There is the underneath, there is the side pipes. So I'm just trying to get it, what does it say on there? Let's get some extra zoom on. Oh, there you go, I can see it. So it is 2007 copyright, so it is an older casting, taken from an older casting. So pretty cool. Let's see if we can get the bonnet to open, to look at some under bonnet detail if I can. Is it an opening bonnet on this one? Let me just take a closer look off camera. I can't tell. Yes, it is. Let's see if I can open it. Can't seem to. No, I'm going to see if I can find a little something to open this bonnet with. Just bear with me. No, I can't get into it, unfortunately. It does look like it opens. It looks like it's got, so it's either very, very well shut or it's a sealed with a separate casted hood. Sometimes Greenlight has a habit of looking like the bonnet's open and they have a separately casted hood. But it doesn't matter, nonetheless, it's still a very, very cool piece. I would have liked to have got a look at the engine. I think the engines in these back in the day were 340 cubic inches. I think, I can't remember now. But anyway, so that is the AAR Plymouth CUDA from Greenlight. So that's the first piece. Then the second piece that I'm going to be opening is going to be from Johnny Lightning, and it is going to be this very cool 1985 Ford Ranger XL. Does that say XL? So very cool. And again, just a quick look for those that like to look at the packaging. So you can see this is one of 4,600, so fairly low numbers. There's the actual card art, something you can pause on if you wish to read about a bit of the backstory, I suppose you could say, on the older versions. And again, not a lot to look at on the back, it just goes on blah 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 blah. So let's get it cracked open. Remove the packaging, and here it is. And again, quite a nice little weighty casting, nicely done. You can see it's got the separate bed rather than being so, like, not to pick on Hot Wheels, but whereas a Hot Wheels this would be joined, but just like a real truck, that is an actual separate bed piece. It is in, I did say the colour, dark, I don't know, I can't pronounce that. It's like a grey poly, like a metallic grey poly of some sort. There's the rear, looks like it has a tipping, yeah, it does have a tipping tail, which is pretty cool, which has got quite a nice fit to it, quite nice shut lines. It has got a plate, which is cool to see. It's got some extra detail there in the corner, which, there we go, I can't quite make out, but it's cool nonetheless. It is raised letters on the Ford badge, or the Ford on the back of the tailgate there, which is pretty cool. You can even, if you've got micro eyes, you can see what it says there on the bottom of the plate, but I can't quite make it out. But this is a cool piece. Obviously it's a four-wheel drive. There is the front with a legible Ford badge. And let's see if we can get this bonnet up on this one. Possibly, possibly not. No, is it going to be a... Let me just take this off camera again. Here we go again. And got success this time. So there is the under bonnet detail. I can't quite make out what it is at the minute. It looks like a V8, could be a V6, I'm not quite sure, but it is very nicely done. Let's see if we can get a, there you go, let's get an extra zoom on, but to see it better. So there is the engine detail. You can see the, if I go this way, you can see the air cleaner. It looks like a separate piece. So yeah, this is quite nicely done from Johnny Lightning. As this is, you know, as we all know, Johnny Lightning of old, there's never been to scale. They've always been smaller. Like, so for example, Auto World, most Greenlights, as far as I'm aware of, are usually to scale. Johnny Lightning was always usually that little bit smaller. I think this might be to scale. I don't think this is as big as a square body Chevy. It actually looks a little bit smaller, the Ford, but it is very cool. The wheels are spot on. It's got Goodyear on the tyres. It's a nice piece. There's the underneath, nicely detailed, as you can see. So yeah, I do like this, and it's nice to see a Ford. As I said, there's a lot of Chevy square bodies to collect from Auto World, and that's what I like about Johnny Lightning. They do quite a lot of unique castings. So anyway, so that is piece number 2. Quite impressed with that. It's quite a cool piece from Johnny Lightning. That is the Ford Ranger. So anyway, next piece, the last piece. So we get the camera up a little bit for this. is this. So it is the Volkswagen Jetta Mark III. And when I was out this morning out and about taking the kids to school and picking a few bits up from my local B&M, I seen they had another Fast and Furious set-in. They did have all the cars which are here, so I get an extra bit of zoom out to see what they are. So they had all of these, there you go, but if I'm completely honest, none of them really appealed to me. The Nova was quite nice, the 70 Chevy Nova SS, that was quite a cool piece, but I wasn't bothered about the Hummer. And the Buick, it had what looked like a tipping hood, but the shut lines or the gap was so big that I didn't pull the trigger on that one. But as soon as I seen this one, I knew I had to get it, as I am a big Volkswagen fan. I've driven and owned lots of Volkswagens. I've had at least, to count, I must have had at least about 18 Mark III Golfs. I've had a lot of Mark III Golfs. I've never owned a Mark III Jetta, but I've driven them. And every time I've gone to try and find this piece before and other sets have come up, I've always missed out. And like I said, the whole set was there, but I did want this. So let's crack it and take a closer look. So again, this is technically classed not as a mainline, as it is part of a set, but it is very nice done. This, I think this was about £3.49, but it's very nicely done. They've got it spot on. So as you can see, the wheels are actually like a spoked effect. So I won't be changing the wheels on these. I actually quite like these wheels. They are very, very nicely done. The front is nicely tampoed in. So if I get my camera to sort its life out, there we go. As you can see, quite nicely done. You can see the Volkswagen sign in the middle. Yeah, you can see it's got a roll cage. It is a nice piece, and if you're a Volkswagen fan, this is a must-have. Or if you're obviously a Fast and Furious fan, and I don't mind the Fast and Furious films. I don't claim to be an expert by any means. I think I only really ever liked a couple of the films, but very cool. And I think in the original film, I think the chap that drove this was that young chap that was called Jesse, I believe, who lost it in a race. But anyway, so that is today's pieces. Great find. That's a particular favourite. I do like that. Definitely better than I thought. And there's the AAR CUDA, Plymouth CUDA. But anyway, with that, please like, share, subscribe. Stay tuned for more weekly premium. Nearly forgot what I was going to say then. And obviously next week, Matchbox, Vintage Matchbox Mondays episodes will be back again on Monday next week. And like I said, I'm hoping my custom will be finished for Friday. We'll see. The weather's being a bit crap here again, unfortunately. But I am trying. But anyway, thank you for watching. Take care. I'll see you all very soon.